Hey guys, got really good news today. Stars and Stripes has a story out now. I guess that the Philippines is going to be letting the U.S. use 5 bases down here. Now they're going to be shared bases because the Constitution, I guess, does not let other countries come in here like before when the U.S. was in here. They changed the Constitution, so the U.S. cannot have a base in here anymore unless it's like a shared base and they're on a Philippine base. So that's like any people that think that we're going to have our own base here anymore is just not true. What it's going to do is it's going to be a shared base. It's a shared facility, okay? Now, one of those bases is going to be down in Palawan, okay? And it's going to be right along the South China Sea, and it's going to be near those islands that China took over. So that's a big thing that's happening here in the Philippines right now. And also, here's another thing, is our ships are pouring in here. We have troops pouring in here. Some of those troops that left Afghanistan have poured over here because they wanted battle-hardened troops over here. So it makes you wonder what's going on over here as far as like what's going to happen, because I don't know if the U.S. has some heavy information about them getting ready to take over Taiwan. Some people out there are saying, no, the U.S. won't fight China for Taiwan. I disagree with you on that, because the closer they get to the U.S., the more ability they have to fire ballistic missiles into the U.S. And that's why one of the reasons why they want Taiwan. If they go for Taiwan, they may end up going for like Hawaii or something like that. We might have like another Pearl Harbor type thing. There's a lot going on over here. There's a lot of scary issues. And a lot of people are writing to me, Steve, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. China doesn't like to start wars. Well, consider that they've taken over Tibet and the Spratly Islands and many other islands, I might add, from other countries, from Vietnam, I believe from India too. They took some islands. So I mean, to say that they're not starting a war, well, when you take over another country's islands, that's an act of war, okay? So, I mean, you have to be quite naive to say that China's not going to start a war, because they already are, okay? And to say that they've never taken over other countries, they have, okay? They've taken over Tibet, all right? So I mean, that's kind of naive to be saying that, because China's a bully. It's a big bully over here, and when we can see it everywhere. Also, 60 Minutes has a lot of good reports. If you look up 60 Minutes Australia, if you guys want some really, really good stories, look up 60 Minutes Australia on YouTube, okay? And they have a lot of really, really good stuff on there about China and what China's doing over here, okay? They also talk about, in some of their stories, they talk about bribing other countries' leaders to get things in there that they need to build, like, not so much bases, but to build like ports and things that will support their ships. Okay, so if like they're getting ready for something, they're getting ready for something really big down here. Also, I think I'm not sure which country it was. It might have been New Guinea. I believe it was New Guinea. They built a port down there that supports an aircraft carrier, which is kind of strange, they said, because it'll support an aircraft carrier, which is way bigger than a cargo ship. Okay, and they said they're going to use it. China says it's for cargo ships, but it's big enough to support an aircraft carrier down there, which is kind of funny. It just makes one wonder. But anyway, guys, I just want to throw that out there a little bit to talk about that. Also, December 25th, Christmas Day, there's something going on that day, and I read this in one of the articles within the past 6 months, that China wants to take Taiwan back before that date. There's something to do with that date. Now, regardless of that date, they still want to take back Taiwan. They want Taiwan in the worst way, okay? For many, many, many reasons. And a lot of people are saying, well, Steve, they'll never go after Taiwan. There's too much political pressure. It'll cause too many problems. I don't think they really care at this point. They know that the United States needs goods. They know that Europe needs goods, so that we can't really shut off the supply of goods coming into the U.S. without really, really getting hurt from those goods, because the United States and Australia and Europe have all become kind of like addicted to those goods, those cheap goods. So that's the biggest part of the problem is the cheap goods. I mean, we can make those goods and buy those goods in the U.S. and in other Western countries, but you know something? People are addicted to cheap goods now because of the cost of living in the U.S. It's very expensive. Also in some other countries, Australia and the UK and Europe and all these Western countries, goods are very expensive. Even here in the Philippines are expensive. If you want to get some good quality goods, you have to pay through the nose for those. But I mean, if you get the cheap Chinese goods, it's very cheap. I mean, even I myself use Chinese goods over here because that's about just all you can get in the Philippines is Chinese goods here. But I myself, I try to seek out other goods if I can buy them. But it's very difficult to find something that's not made in China today. So that's the problem. But anyway, guys, I want to throw that out there. And guys, don't be so naive to think that China will not act. Remember, they've already acted. It's almost like a declaration of war when you take over another country's islands. It's just that when the Philippines asked Obama for help, okay, Obama said, no, I'm not going to fight over a couple of sandbars or something like that, or whatever he said. It was something like that. It was really stupid. Because now, here we are in this predicament because of the fact that the U.S. didn't want to come in here and help the Philippines. And that's why the Philippines was a little bit miffed at the U.S. And with good reason. Now we have to come in here and we have to support them even more. Whereas if we had gotten China off those islands immediately, we wouldn't have the problems that we have now. And now we have some big issues because China's gone up by Vietnam and India, and they've tried taking over other islands. Matter of fact, they have a few islands, I think, right off the coast of Vietnam. It's just that everybody's not going to go to war with China. They just don't want to go to war with China. So now they keep doing it because they know they can get away with it. And it's just going to keep on happening. So that's why I think that they're going to go for Taiwan next, because the U.S. hasn't acted on all these other things. So they figure, okay, we'll just take back Taiwan. They'll probably put up a small battle and then they lose and we win. And I honestly believe that they're going to do that. Now, whether the question is now is how much of a battle is the U.S. going to put up for Taiwan? And if they get Taiwan, are they going to go after the Philippines next? Are they going to go after Hawaii next? Are they going to go after, South Pacific Islands next? Some of them, by the way, they've already bought the political leaders in those small countries. And those small countries are already bended towards China. So a lot of the countries down here, because of the leaders, are getting huge sums of money in little white envelopes, I'm sure, under the table. That's what's happening. It's already happened on some of the South Pacific countries because those people are poor. Even the leaders are poor because they're like little tribes, basically, tribes of people or indigenous people or whatever you want to call them. And what happens is, somebody hands them a large envelope full of money. What are you going to say? You're going to say no? No, you're worried about your family, about feeding your family and taking care of your family. Of course they're going to take it. They don't realize how important those small islands are to China and the U.S. The people that live there don't understand that. And the U.S. can't even keep up with the impact that China has down here and the fact that China's sending all these people out to do all this stuff. And then they're building, places, like I said, in New Guinea. They're getting ready to, have cargo ships and stuff going in. But they built the port there capable of taking in an aircraft carrier in there and supporting an aircraft carrier, not just cargo ships. It kind of tells you something what's going on. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.